Are you looking for an idea for an adorable, economical, and easy to make wedding favor? Watch today's video and I give you the solution. One way that we have chose to bless brides over the years is to offer to make wedding favors for them, for our close friends and family. But today's wedding favor is going to be for our own daughter, Bailey. And I wanted to show you how easy and adorable this wedding favor is. So to start off with, the supplies you're going to need is a cotton fabric, maybe a poly blend, something that's light. Muslin works great. You're going to need a logo or a saying that you can put on a Cricut machine or a silhouette machine and do a heat transfer vinyl on that. You will also need some candy to fill the bag and then something to tie it with. We chose to use twine, but you can use ribbon. So I'm going to show you step by step how to make these bags and how fast it is to put them together. The cool thing about this project is you can use scraps. This is obviously a scrap that I believe was left over from backing a quilt, and this is actually muslin. So this is very nice and lightweight. 1 yard of fabric will make roughly 45 to 48 of these little bags. So I use a rotary cutter and a ruler. I have the links down below on the cutting supplies that I use, but I have already straightened up one edge. You cut your strips 3 inches wide. So I'm going to cut a few of these and show you how you can do this in production. Make them nice and fast. A tip while cutting, I don't know if you noticed, I put my pinky on the outside of the ruler to hold it in place. So I have the 3-inch mark. Set your pinky on the outside and then zip it, and it keeps it from scooting away on you. So let me do this part. So now we cut these 10 inches long. And since this is not something that is super precision, you're not going to be joining blocks of a quilt, I have found just line them up on your board pretty straight. Straighten off this end. And that was at 25.5, so I need to go to 15.5 and cut at 10 inches. And it doesn't look like those are going to be long enough. 15, no. So I'm not going to be able to use this on the scrap, which is fine. It was just a leftover scrap. Every time you're done cutting, close your blade. That's another tip. Save you from getting stitches on the top of your foot. Okay, so I have my strips that are 3 inches by 10 inches. Now we'll go to the sewing machine and show you the next step. Okay, at your sewing machine, you want to set up a zigzag that is a little closer together. So on my machine, I have it set at 1.0. So I'm going to set it up at 1.0 and then just the normal width. When you zigzag, your needle should go on the edge of your fabric. So we're going to zigzag on each end of the strips, but I'm going to show you how to do it in production mode. When you get to the end, there's no need to backstitch on this part because there's not going to be any stress on it. When you get to the end of that, take your next piece and just continue. One tip is with something that is so short and fine, it will sometimes get caught down in your needle plate. So pull on the piece that is behind your presser foot to help it along. Now snip away that last one take your string of them, leave them all clipped together, and do the same thing on the opposite end. Remember that one that was still left in the machine has not been done, so snip that one off at this point and do its opposite end. Go ahead and snip those apart. Change your machine to a straight stitch, just a normal length. And if you have right sides to your fabric, at this point you want to put right sides together, pretty sides together, but fold your finished ends. And we are going to do a really narrow, probably about a 1/4 inch seam. And I've done, I don't even know how many of these I've already done. Every once in a while, your fabric does get caught down in the needle, so you're just going to have to fuss with it because you're just doing such a small area. That tends to happen when I backstitch, but I do want to backstitch because I don't want this to separate when people are trying to get their candy out. So I'm going to go a little bit of a straight stitch, and then I will backstitch just 1 or 2, and then continue. Backstitch a little bit before you get to the end, and then continue. And that seems to solve the fabric getting caught down in the needle. So I went a few stitches, now I do a couple back stitches and then continue. Back stitch before I get to the end, and then we're done. And so then you continue that with all the bags. When you get done with your stash, clip them apart and feed it through to do the opposite side. So at this point, you can go ahead and turn it inside out and just use something that is hard to push out your corners. And there you have your little bag with a little finished end. And at this point, I make a big stack of them and clip them all at one time. Just clip any frays that are still on the tip of your bag. So this is the monogram that we're going to put on ours. Bailey designed it for Nicholas and Bailey. Super sweet. I've already cut them out on my Cricut and weeded them. And this is heat transfer vinyl. And I have the link down below of the vinyl that we like to use. So I am just going to place them on the bottom of each of the bags. Put the freezer paper down on it. My machine automatically goes for 10 seconds and then it beeps. If it's at a good temperature, that's all it needs. Sometimes I'll have to do it for about 15, but we'll check here once it beeps at us. And I just test it by kind of lifting up a corner. Oh, that actually looks really good. So I let them cool just a little bit. So you just pull them off and there is the completed monogram on each bag. Super fast. Now we fill them with candy and tie them up. Okay, I'm using twine and I cut them right at 10 inches long, but you can use ribbon or whatever to make your style. And then just select whatever candy you want. I do want to warn you, we have, as I said, we like to bless brides by making their wedding favors. Melting chocolate is not a good idea for an outdoor wedding. So we just put 2 or 3 pieces of candy in the bag. Take your twine and just a little bow. And there you have a super cute wedding favor. If you have any questions while you're making your wedding favor, please comment down below. We have made several different varieties. Check out, we have a video on how we did apple butter and is a huge blessing for the brides. So as always, thank you for watching DIY on the House.